All right, what's up, guys?
What it do?
What's up? What's up? We have a guest today.
We do. Introduce yourself for the people.
What's your name, young
Woo-hoo!
lady?
Hello, everybody. Cierra Cole, or Cece, or Sriracha, whatever you want to
Or
call me,
Sriracha.
There we
or
go.
or Diesel. I have so many nicknames.
It seems like the multiple nicknames is like a thing in Einhorn in New Braunfels. Like,
Yeah, it for sure is. It just kind of like I don't know. You have something that like connects somebody to something. I don't know where Diesel come from. I think it came from Cecil the Diesel, and then it just snowballed into like a million different things. But yes, we love nicknames over at Einhorn.
It
Just
reminds
like
me
we
of
do.
that Office episode where I got mnemonic devices
oh,
to remember everybody's
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Well, that's
That's
another
funny.
thing. It kind of helps you remember if somebody's new and you give them a nickname. I think
Yeah,
it
nobody's gonna
stick a little
forget
bit
Cecil the
better.
Diesel.
Yeah, who's gonna forget that?
People get
Nobody.
nicknames. People get nicknames, but they're nicknames that are usually best kept in my head.
Oh well,
It's like,
Fair enough.
like
savage.
when I mean when I like if I meet somebody at the gym and it's like I need to remember them, it's like, oh, person who can randomly do muscle ups on their first day. And then like that's how I
Oh
remember
god.
who they are.
There you
And then
go.
if it's like, oh, person who has a really bad squat, like I remember that guy now. Like
God, I can only imagine the names that you come up with for those people.
it just makes it
Yeah, we're
easier in my
gonna
head.
we're gonna cut this part out of the podcast.
We made it 15 episodes and now I'm gonna get canceled.
we're,
So
we're still not
Well,
canceled.
I'm sure you have a nickname for me then with my terrible thrusters and my lockout position overhead. So,
no,
or if not you, then somebody else. They're like, that girl sucks.
your nickname was just Team Mom. That was your nickname. It's like
Yeah.
that was the role you filled. So
Thank
Fair
you.
enough.
it's all
I
good.
All right.
appreciate that.
Well, speaking of Team Mom, we're hosting Sierra today because we are one very proud of her for what she's accomplished last year, but she is part of Team Einhorn Ascend, who were able to punch their ticket to the CrossFit Game, did an amazing performance at the games, and she humbly agreed to be with us today to fill us in on that experience and kind of like tell us about her journey to begin with, how she got there, what did she feel, all that. It's a long. This could be a 2 hour episode, or we can try and make it a little less than that. But we're gonna go with first of all, let's talk about when did you start CrossFit?
Oh my gosh.
This is
So
good. I don't even
I
know the
was,
answer to this.
I don't even remember, honestly. No, I was
Forever.
playing, I was playing soccer in college at Texas State. I played like 2 seasons, and then I got hurt. I came in with an injury, and then ended up hurting my knee my sophomore year, so I didn't even really play that season. And ended up going to get treated by a provider at Rosti, the company that I now work with, and he actually recommended CrossFit to me because he worked closely with the gym right down the street. I think this was in like late 2016. Um, so, anyways, I ended up quitting soccer a couple of weeks later,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, and I started from what I can remember, like right after that, just because I felt I was depressed for like a couple days. I was like, I just made the worst decision of my life by quitting instead of just like sticking it out. And then I ended up going to this. It was more of like a strength and conditioning gym, I guess you could call it, because it didn't have the name CrossFit, but and they were
Ah,
really against doing all of like the high Olympic lift. So no snatching, no high skill gymnastics, no like butterfly pull ups. They were not that was not going to happen over there. Obviously, no chest to bar muscle ups, all that stuff. It was just mainly squatting, bikes, aerobic capacity, that kind of stuff. So yeah, 2016 was the year Diesel began.
So your first open was the dumbbell year, 2017.
Was that the dumbbell
Dumbbell snatch, bar burpee,
snatch?
box jump over.
I think I did that not in the open. I saw everyone do the open and then I just did it by myself
Okay.
on the side.
So you started
Yeah.
later in 2016 and you didn't feel like you wanted to do the Open in 20. So your first Open was 2018.
Or 2017.
17 is the dumbbell year.
That's the Dumbo. year.
Okay, well then yes. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think I actually did it with them, but I did on the side. I would have to look up my old scores to see if I actually
Fair enough.
participated.
And
What?
you said you. Sorry, go ahead.
What position did you play in soccer?
Well, I was kind of all over in college. I was left wing, and in high school, I was like center defense. I was the big B in the
That
back
makes sense.
Fair.
That makes
that
sense.
knocked people over.
I was just wondering,
Cecil the Diesel.
well, that and then, like soccer as previous sport and a slight aversion to running now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was like,
Shots
where'd
fired.
that come from?
I never liked
Uh.
running whenever I was in soccer. I liked running with a purpose, which was the goal.
Mhm.
But now that I'm just running to run with a weight vest, like it's not my favorite thing to do. So
I mean, that's fair. I played soccer and I never loved running.
yeah,
Fair enough.
thank you.
All right, so you played soccer in Texas State, and speaking of which, you also have two sisters who I think both played soccer as well, right?
Correct.
And
And a little
now
brother.
are in the CrossFit area, and a little brother. I
Yep.
did not get the pleasure to meet your brother yet, but I'm familiar with both your sisters because they're in Houston over here. So I wanted to ask:
yeah.
Are you originally from Houston, or were you originally from Houston?
I'm
And
from
were you-
Sugarland, which is like
Okay.
Southwest Houston. Yeah.
And were you the first sister to go into the CrossFit area?
Yes, and that story is kind of funny too. I think we were all hesitant to join just because we didn't want to be those bulky girls. We all had that thought in our mind that if we started lifting weights and
Mhm.
going hard in the paint in the gym, that we would just be like meatballs, and that's not what we wanted. Yes, I was the first Cole sister to start CrossFit and convinced Sevi and then Taylor to start doing it, and now they're like gung ho about it. They love it so much. So
Nice.
we can all
That's
bond
awesome.
over that, and hopefully one day we'll all get to do a competition together. But we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Greg Glassman thanks you.
Yeah.
All right, and so you started in your first Open was 2018. Tell us about. I know that you guys made semifinals last year as a team, and I believe it was the same team, correct?
Nope.
Was
I was with another gym in San Antonio called Lone Star
Okay.
CrossFit. Oh my gosh.
Tell
gotcha.
Siri
Okay,
to chill out, yo.
I know. Sorry. Could y'all hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
So was last year your first attempt at going into a team competition or high level competition? All right.
Yes.
So tell us about last year briefly, and then we're gonna go into this year's and what the difference was.
So last year was interesting because we had a big group of competitive athletes at Lone Star, and Zach and I were almost like trying out for one of the teams.
Mhm.
So they held like big group sessions on the weekends because it was like an hour away from our house at the time. And so our weekends were dedicated to going up there and trying out or training, whatever it was. And we knew Casey, who was on my team this year.
Mhm.
So sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a very different experience over there. It was a very competitive atmosphere. Like the gym as a whole had a lot of competitors.
Mhm.
And the goal was to make two teams to make it to semifinals, and that's what happened. Zach and I were actually on separate teams, so I went with Casey, Gio, and Kristen. Casey ended up getting hurt. He tore his pec last
Mhm.
year's individual quarterfinals.
Reasons why when you're on a team, you don't do individual quarterfinals.
Totally. Yeah.
Anyway.
Fair enough.
And we were like trying to go head to head against like some of the other competitors. So it was like more of an ego thing. And we all learned our lesson on that. And I mean, especially Casey, like he'll never do that again. But it was a rough start to the season. We had a backfill come in and ended up coming to semifinals with us. He did quarterfinals with us as a team, and then ended up coming to semis with us as well. So just kind of last second fill in, and we were separate from the other Lone Star team, so they went to the MAC and we went to Granite Games, where actually the other Ascend team was competing.
True that.
And you guys placed. I think you barely missed the qualifying spot.
Oh, on Lone Star's team, we were 12th.
They
and
took
only
five?
took 5.
They took 5.
So
barely.
I mean, I guess you could call it close.
I mean, yeah, that's still close. I would say it's close.
But
I just
it's
remember that you
confusing
guys.
because this year they took 10. Last year they only took 5.
Yeah,
So
we keep messing with our heads so we don't remember, but that's
I
okay.
know.
All right,
CrossFit.
so tell us about this year, starting from how the Open was. This year you were at Einhorn CrossFit, which is in I can never spell the name of the city correctly. Can
New
you say it?
Braunfels.
There you go.
A lot of people like to call it News Braunfels, but it's New Braunfels. It's confusing.
That's where I like the S's are just so everywhere, basically.
It's all over the place.
You of all people are like
I
you're the best person with words I know.
I can't. Word just baffles me.
Wow.
Give him a break. A lot of people have trouble figuring this one out. So
yeah, but most people aren't bilingual.
Yeah.
Sorry.
German words are weird.
German words are weird.
Yeah.
So.
Which isn't like Einhorn is also German. It's one horn in German.
Yep.
So that's where Einhorn comes from. That's why we throw it up.
I had to look.
Oh, please tell me. No, please tell me you knew. Please tell me you knew.
No, so I knew Ein was 1, and I put that together. But because I grew up watching Ace Ventura, the only thing I could think of was Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn.
Yep.
And I was like, why on earth would somebody name their gym after that?
Well,
and then when they started putting out like the unicorn logo,
yep,
I was like, okay.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
well, and
so for those of you,
sorry, go for it.
I was saying, for those of you who don't know why the unicorn, it's because of the actual name of the gym.
Right.
Yeah. Very true.
All right. Sorry, they applied for what?
They applied for several different names to get, approved by CrossFit. And I think they were turned down like, I don't even know how many times, but several times. And it was like just a long process. Einhorn was the only one that stuck. So we ended up
it's a cool name. I like it a lot.
It's very fitting.
All right, so you were at Einhorn CrossFit, and how did Casey go with you in the first place? Like, I know Zach is your fiance, right?
Correct.
So you guys moved there over after last year?
So Casey actually, at the time, he lived in Seguin with his wife Megan. So he was actually closer to Einhorn than he was to Lone Star, and he had just for the past 5 years or so had been driving up to Lone Star to go train with them. So it really just made sense, like logistically, for him to like be at a gym 15 minutes from his house versus an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he liked training with us, so it just worked out. Now he's back in San Antonio, so he's all over the place. But for this past season, it just kind of came together. We had another girl, Abby, who was at the gym, and we just wanted to try to keep everything in-house and try to make it work with the people that we had. And since Casey was really close, it just made sense. And, we love him and knew him from the previous year, coming back from his injury and everything. So, yeah, we just made it work with what we got.
One of the last true affiliate teams.
That's true. Gang, gang.
Yeah. Okay. So, talk to me more about your process, talking together with the team. What made you decide you want to take another shot at the games? What did you do? I know at some point you contacted Triston, and what was the thought process here going into the season?
Yeah, so I guess I kind of knew of Triston before this comp that we did in College Station, but it's the first time that I actually talked to him. It was at a small comp in College Station that SDA CrossFit put on, called Battle of Excellence. And I don't know, I think I was just warming up next to Jacob Marlowe. He was talking to Triston. I just started talking to them and asking them questions about coaching a team specifically. Ended up getting his info. And then shortly after that, we kind of decided on the team that we had put together. And I don't really remember how like it all came together. I think I got in touch with you that we were interested in, hiring a coach for the season. And yeah, just kind of went from there. I just talked to him briefly that one time at that competition, and I just really liked his energy and his attitude. And I saw that Jacob and Kelly were both doing really well, as at the time they had won that comp that Zach and I were going against them. So yeah,
And that was early
that's
this
kind of
year.
how all got started.
It was like October, I think.
Yeah.
October last year.
Yeah.
Was it
it was
last year? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So we talked, and then I ended up talking to, like, I talked to you again, and then I talked
Mhm.
to Abby, Zach, Casey, and kind of talked with all you guys individually. And then you guys kind of came back to me and were like, yeah, all right, you'll do.
You'll do. You'll work.
So,
Yeah.
All right, and then talk to us about quarterfinals. How did that go? How different was it from last year? And I know Triston went down to coach you guys in person. How did that add value? How did that subtract value? Was it useful at all?
I mean, I think it took a lot of the weight off our shoulders as far as like reading through the rules, setting up the space for the actual events or the qualifiers, and just having somebody there to guide us in person versus like having somebody giving us virtual advice. It makes a huge difference having somebody there. And Courtney came, and that was just a huge help. Like they stayed with us. I don't know. It was a bunch of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it was a
a
lot
blast.
different from last year.
Yeah.
Just because of like we're so close to Einhorn, it's just nice and convenient. But just like having a coach there, I don't know. I know I already said this, but it took a huge weight off our shoulders, and all we had to think about was just putting in the work, just doing the workout. Like we didn't have to think about anything else. So that was really nice. And for me, who like I'm constantly filled with anxiety and just worry. Tristan knows that. I'm always worried about too many things that I shouldn't be worried about. So having him there and Courtney there was really awesome and super helpful. Like I would recommend it to anybody as far as team and individuals goes, because it's a huge help to have a coach there in person with you.
And then you made it in quarterfinals. What rank? What position?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
so
before the penalty,
Tristan's just gonna bring up all of my faults. No, I'm totally okay with it. We came in, I think, like 14th,
16th,
15th,
something like that. Yes, it was right around there.
16th
Yeah.
ish. And long story short, the last workout, I do not like thrusters. I hate thrusters with a burning passion. And it was dumbbell thrusters, and I have like terrible overhead mobility. And after the clean and jerks that we did the day before, the heavy clean and jerks at 185, my shoulder was just hurting so bad. Not that that's an excuse, but that's just how I was feeling in the moment.
I mean, it's valid.
Yeah. Anyways, after that, I woke up the next morning. I was like, this workout's going to give me hell. Knowing that, like, you guys know if it's a fixed bar versus like two dumbbells, and you have two different like strengths in each arm and just like mobility. Yeah, that was pretty much me. It was like one or the other.
In your defense, for just a different opinion on this, because for people who don't know you, like Cece is part of the long femur gang. Okay, like she has a long way to go when she squats and is not necessarily built to squat below parallel at maximal speed repetitively. And she does have long arms and improvements to be made on her overhead mobility. So she's not just like, man, woe is me. Like there's some stuff there that made that not an advantageous workout for her.
For sure. And whenever you're trying to go as fast as you possibly can with somebody like Casey, who's the same height as me or just slightly taller, and has the perfect stature for, thrusters. Trying to keep up with him. Anyways, long story short, I got about 30 no reps on my lockout, which is like a majority of the reps were no reps.
Yeah, it was good.
So we ended up getting, I think, second to last place in that workout because of that penalty.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw it coming after it happened. Like, I just knew that the video angle was terrible and it didn't feel great while I was doing it. But at that time, we were just like, F it, we're done with this. We only
Yep.
wanted to do each workout one time.
Yeah.
And so we were like all okay with submitting that score, knowing that there could be a major penalty, which ended up happening. So I think we went into semifinals in 23rd place,
Yeah.
24th place, something
All
like
right.
that.
And
So
at this point in the season, or you probably had an idea or a good idea that you'll make semifinals to begin with. But at this point,
absolutely not.
Not her.
going in before quarterfinals, like the
I
goal is
don't
to make it to
know.
semifinals.
Yeah, I mean that was the goal. Yes, the end
It was
goal
the
was to make it
goal,
to
yeah.
semifinals. But
So
we all had
at
our
the
doubts.
time, in after quarterfinals, did you guys already like, okay, we can make it to the games, or was it still like just do well in semifinals?
Yeah,
Just do well.
I think Zach will be the only one that like won't admit that. But
Yeah.
but there's a reason why we called it the Cinderella story, because honestly, nobody thought that we were gonna make it there. We didn't think that we were gonna make it to the games. I'm just being completely honest here. Um, I didn't even think we would make it to semifinals before quarterfinals. Like I just didn't know how the
Field's
season
gonna
would
play.
pan out, knowing that. And I know you probably will ask about this later, but we had our other girl was literally a intermediate athlete last year at TFX, had never done a competition bigger than that competition at TFX. And so having her go from intermediate to doing pro TFX the next year, to going to quarterfinals as a team for the first time, to going to semifinals as a team for the first time ever, like each step in the process was her biggest competition. So I don't
That
know.
is a Cinderella story.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And yeah, we'll probably go over that more later, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We all had our own individual doubts, and I think because so many other people just thought that semifinals was going to be the end for us, it kind of like made it, I don't know, more believable for us too. We didn't
Yeah.
have I don't know. It's just a weird feeling at the time,
That's fair.
looking back.
So going into semifinals, what did you guys like? Well, you were there. Like, let's say you guys are before the first event, or you just got there and checked in. What was yours energy? Like, are you going in like, okay, we're just gonna give it hell? Are we here to have fun? Are we trying to make it to the games? What was the energy there?
I think it was a
Cece's energy was
combination.
like,
Yeah, it was a combination of all those things. I'm like, I know, right? Like really outwardly trying to have fun, but sweating my ass off before the first event. Before like, and we were standing like in the convention center where it's 60 degrees in there, and I'm just profusively sweating because I'm so nervous. Um, yeah, I don't know. I can't even begin to describe what I was feeling, because I was all the feelings, like anxious, excited, super happy, like wanting to do the best that we can, see if we could make a qualifying spot. Like I just don't think could completely see our potential at that point until we
Mhm.
finished that first workout. So probably just a lot of doubt and anxiety before the first event, and then it kind of snowballed into more confidence throughout the weekend.
Yeah. So watching from here, it seemed like you guys on the first event, maybe even the second event, like the first day in general, you looked like you were having fun in the workouts. Like
Yeah.
you're smiling mid workout. I was like, what the hell's happening here?
except Zach and Casey on the 200-pound bag.
Yeah. That was terrible.
That is true. Yeah, they did not like that.
Zach had
But
an out of body experience.
He really did, though.
that being said, like that's why I was asking. Is like it seemed like you guys had a really like positive outlook on the event, and I don't know if you guys had talked about it. Like, okay, we're just here to have fun, and we'll see what happens, or we're like, are we gonna make it? Are we not gonna make it? So, like, talk to me. Okay, you said before the event was different than after the event. What did you guys talk about after the first event or the first day even? Did the script change?
Honestly, Casey and I are the only one that really like outwardly talk about.
Express ourselves.
Yeah. Zach will like say a couple words. Abby says no words.
There.
Unless you like ask her a like direct question. Which is like a reason why I love her. She's very just to herself and only speaks whenever it's super important. So she'll definitely add to the conversation if she needs to. But I think she was pretty nervous and quiet at the time. So it was really just like maybe Casey and I like evaluating how we did and Zach adding in a little bit here and there. But I think we were really excited after that first event. Like it kind of lit a fire under our ass. Like, okay, we belong here. Like we're not just here to have fun for the weekend and, you know, get through all the workouts. Like, no, we're here. We can keep up with these other athletes and these other teams. And I don't know, I think it was a pivoting moment in the weekend, like after that
It did
first
look
event,
like
getting
it.
eighth. Because yes, we were there to have fun. Like it probably did look like we were having a blast out there because we are so close. Like we're a family and we truly love each other. So we went in just kind of like, I don't know, winging it. And then after that first one, we were like, let's fucking go. Like we can do this.
Okay.
There's this
That's awesome.
weird thing with competitions, like what you were talking about, I think, in the beginning, that I really noticed at semifinals in particular. And I'm sure other athletes experience this at, any competition they do, but like when you're there before semis and you check in, it's like everything is nothing but possibilities.
Mhm.
Like, so there's all this work that's been put in and there's all of this emotion and anxiety and stress, but like there's nothing has taken any shape yet. It's all
Yeah,
just like possibilities of what this weekend will hold. And like even as a coach, like that was a lot of what I felt and thought that I looked like you felt that day before competition or before that first event.
totally.
Um,
I can agree.
and you guys rocked the first event. Like you did
Yeah.
exactly what you needed to do. We needed to get out of the third heat or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a good start. Momentum is a real thing
Oh yeah.
in competition.
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. And I think we can all say that we all enjoyed that first event except for Zach. Everybody had fun except for him.
It's probably fair.
That's
He
fair.
saw the light.
Yeah, it's probably fair.
And then fast forward to the last event of the week, you guys looked like you had a literally a fire under your asses where you're just like attacking it, making it like we're gonna get first today. Talk to me about your thoughts before that workout. What were you guys talking about? What was your strategy in it? Like not technical strategy, but like, are we just full sending or like, do you guys talk about like what if we make it, what if we don't make it, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I'm getting the chills like thinking about it again because it was just a surreal like feeling right before that
Mhm.
event. Only because like that was the first event that we got to compete in the last heat. So we're like, okay, we're here. We're like, we finally made it after all these events. Like now we're finally in the top 10. Um, and knowing that we were confident in that workout going into it, we couldn't really see how other teams were doing before we stepped on. I wanted to call it the field, but I guess what do you call it, the stage? I don't know.
Call the stage.
Yeah, the
The
floor.
floor,
Yeah.
the floor.
Yeah.
Call
Um,
Brian Friend to be like, hey, what happened?
But I don't know. We were so excited and super confident in our abilities to do all those movements. Um, it was so cool. Like I think we knew we had it at that point, knowing that we were going to do well. We could kind of see through the bleachers that teams were falling apart on that workout, either like on the rope climbs or the handstand push-ups, and we were like, we've done this workout 3 times. Like, we've practiced this. We have gotten a minute faster each time we've done it. And we practiced it like with a harder strategy before. So knowing that we could like split it up however we wanted or take breaks in between the reps. Um, I don't know. We're so excited to go into that last workout, and we love the worm. Like, that's one of our favorite things to do. So, yeah, we were really excited to go out there and just like be able to showcase all the hard work that we've put in throughout the whole season. Like, I think that was a perfect example of who we are as a team. That last event.
Absolutely. Were your phones blowing up right after for like the next week?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel bad because I still look back at like some DMs that I got, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never responded to this. I'm so sorry.
Fucking 6 months
but
later.
I mean, yeah, seriously. But it was so cool, like the amount of support that we had from people that weren't there, people from our home gym, people from Greater Heights, everyone from back home who I like started CrossFit with, my siblings, my family, and then not only people that were watching from afar, but also the other athletes or the other teams that were there.
Yeah.
So many of them came up to us and they were like, "We're rooting for you guys." Like,
that's awesome.
I don't know, it gets me so emotional, but it was just so cool to see other people who they want that opportunity so bad. Like, they want to make the game so bad, and they know how much hard work goes into the season, coming up to us and wishing us well. It was so cool afterwards. And even before that last event, they were like, you guys got this. Like, go get it. I don't know. It was awesome.
The
We
last
received
event was
a lot of support.
The last event was pretty surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
we were all watching it here.
Well, like, I watched the previous heat, and the team that was right behind them didn't finish the workout.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew it was one of their best workouts for the weekend, like something they were really comfortable with. So, like, none of you heard me, I don't think, but like once you guys were like in the last round of that workout, I was just yelling like, you got it. Like, you got it. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, as long as you finish in the placing that you're in, and you guys did even better than that in that workout, but it was like to have it almost locked up, and then that team to have what happened to them on that workout for you guys to go out there. It wasn't like a victory lap, so to speak, but it was like I don't remember how long the workout was, but it was like
bring it home, basically.
It was like watching over the span of 12 minutes or whatever it took the workout, like watching it all sink in over the course of 12 minutes that everything had paid off.
Totally.
So it was like this just constant like emotional thing.
Yeah.
For that whole event.
We felt it, like us doing the workout. I was dying the most out of everybody. And even I like was getting emotional in the workout. I'm like, let's finish this so we can celebrate. But like at that point, you just know, and so many emotions are running through your mind. It was awesome.
And talk to me about how the first day you stepped back into the gym. How did the gym receive you guys?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even want to go back to the gym for the first week just because I knew that people were going to go crazy. And I get pretty overwhelmed if like too many people are coming up to me. And if you're in like a small town, I know New Braunfels is growing, but like just your people at your home gym, like those are your friggin' people. Like, that's your family. And we're a very close-knit gym at Einhorn. And I don't know, I didn't want to be treated any differently than I have been in the past. So it was good just to take a week to myself and just spend time at home. I think I went to like the pool a couple times to go swim and just be on myself and like reflect. But I mean, I had to coach eventually and get back in there, and it was awesome just to be surrounded by everybody, and so many good things coming from all the members, and they were just so thrilled for us. So it was fun to come back and be able to see them in person and give them hugs, and just kind of say the same thing like 5 million times to each person.
Yes.
That's the best part.
fast forward to the games. Let's talk about how the games training was different since this is your first time.
Hold on. I think you're kind of asking what I want to ask, but I want to ask this because I feel like there's some thoughts that she might have about this.
Sure.
Tell us about games prep.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Was that you were gonna get to?
Is that what you were going for?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
tell
many
us about
things I
games
could say
prep.
about this. So many things. Um, so games prep was fun. Like, I think we really enjoyed all the workouts that we got as a team. Team workouts were really fun, whether it was worm or odd object stuff. I know it kind of shifted from what we were doing before semifinals, just because the game's format is so different. um, and knowing that we could potentially be like swimming and biking or doing whatever. I don't know, it was just a completely different mindset. But I know I said this before. Our team, we're close, we love each other. But it got hectic. As you also know, my fiance is on the team, Zach. So being in a relationship with one of the other guys was wonderful and also difficult at the same time. So I don't know, I think because we spent so much time together every day, um, it was it got hectic at times, and just our motto for games training was don't get frantic, um, which I'll probably elaborate later on that. It was just like a funny moment where we were all screaming at each other, and like the clock starts and we just immediately go into like go mode. Like everyone's bickering back and forth, and then we immediately like have to pick up the worm. So to answer your question, games training was so much fun. um, we learned a lot about each other and ourselves, and I would love to be able to do it again next year.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so going into the games, how were the games different than semifinals? Like vibe wise, like how did you feel differently?
Oh, vibe. Yeah, that was weird too. Just because we went
Were you
into it
still
like
sweating?
no. Okay, that's what I will say was so different from semifinals to the games. I think the pressure was kind of off at that point. Like
Mhm.
we just wanted to go and have fun. Like we wanted to do as well as we could. Obviously, we didn't want to go
Right.
out there and look like absolute garbage. But knowing that we got to that point, I don't know. I felt like for me personally, the pressure was off. I could just go out there and kind of like I knew I put in all the work leading up to that point. Um, so I wasn't concerned about where I was at fitness wise or what I could lift, or like how well I could bike or swim. I just wanted to go out there and like really enjoy the experience. So I think that was the biggest difference between semifinals, where there was so much pressure, like leading up to the last day, versus the games. It was just like go out there and do your thing, like
Mhm.
have fun with each other. And I'm sure each person on the team will say something different about that experience. But for me personally, like I loved every second of it. Like it was awesome. It was just the I kept saying it was like the best week of my life because it truly was. It was just so much
That's
fun.
a huge testimony.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to dive too much into like the technicalities of the programming and all that in the games, but what was something that you would say you would love to see more of in the games in the future? And what was something that you didn't like that it was in the games or as much in the games? And I'm gonna say that was probably running for you.
Yeah. You're spot on with that. Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
I don't like to run. I guess I was a soccer player, but that was short sprints. Like I I don't enjoy running.
Going
I
back,
like
I
the cool.
confirm I played soccer.
Yeah. I also don't like really lightweight a million reps. Like I hate that. It's like my worst enemy. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be air squats. Like I don't like it. Give me a
Fair
heavy
enough.
weight in a couple reps and let's go. No,
Keep my
I
heart rate nice
didn't.
and low.
Yeah. Right. Um, so yeah, what I didn't like about the games, what I think could be better. I don't know. I felt like, oh, sorry.
Thought you had a cat.
I
It's like,
I don't like that two of the workouts were so like one dimensional. Like a 5K run, which was technically a 4.5K run, which I'm completely fine with. And then the other one was just biking. It was just like it was boring, like what's
Yeah.
the fun in just doing one thing for, 20 to 40 to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
The bike, it was just so close. Like everyone was right. Everyone got like 16 laps. Like that was the most that I think like 10 plus teams got 16 laps, and they just took
Yeah.
the record for the last lap completed or time. So I didn't like that those workouts were just one thing. I don't know. I felt like the year before they had the bike with the toes to
Toast the
bar
bar.
and the running
The
or whatever.
swim event.
It was just like more fun to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't like that we didn't
I
have
think it
swim
was
here.
also like the fact that both events this year were kind of a lap based, so you just keep
Yeah.
going in the same thing, versus last year it was going from A to B, or
Yes.
like they ran from the stadium to the Capitol, they swam with the target there, like it wasn't
Totally.
just let's do that for laps.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little bit more entertaining, at least for the athletes, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, and entertaining for the athletes, but also entertaining for like the spectators. Like my whole family came up to watch. I know Casey's whole family came. Zach's family was there. Abby's family
Yeah.
was there. It's like watching somebody run around in circles where you can only see them for like 20 seconds at a time whenever they're running past you. It's like that's not fun to watch. Like nobody likes
Right.
to see that as a spectator's point of view. And I felt like both of those workouts were just like boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yes, while it did definitely test your fitness, it wasn't like a huge separator. I don't know.
it's tough for them to create tests like that because the games is the only place they can test those kind of things,
Correct.
right? Like a long distance run or whatever. And
Yeah.
then it's a difficult challenge for them to also make those things like spectator friendly or
Totally.
entertaining, right? And get
Yeah.
the same stimulus. But I think that was something that was kind of consistent from the teams and the individuals this year. Like
Yeah,
there
true.
were several tests that were just kind of like meh. Like it's
Yeah.
a fine test, but like that's it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
right?
And
Or
I'm
like
not saying that like you have to make everything fancy, like high school gymnastics, like crazy, but add another component to it. Like what's going to make this somewhat exciting to watch or to do yourself.
Yeah. Fair enough. And then what was like the thing that you liked the most about the game, workout wise?
Like, oh, okay. I'm kind of forgetting.
P-bar dips.
Or like what was your favorite event?
Yeah, that one was our best workout. Like that one was really fun. Well, okay. What? Sorry. I always loved the worm, so I really liked the gymnastics. Ring muscle up, worm clean and jerk, and yoke push, or the bob push. That one was really fun. The P-bar workout was really fun too. That was like our best finish all weekend. And you're in the Coliseum. It's just like the energy is amazing, even for teams. And we had been practicing those kind of movements. So I felt like all those times where, you stayed after the workout and finished your accessories, I'm like, okay, that's kind of paid off. So I'm not as mad about doing them.
Do you fucking hear that, athletes?
Yeah.
Do your accessory work.
All the silly pirouettes that he made us do throughout the season, the parallel bars, it all applied to that point in the season. So
you guys
I really enjoyed those workouts.
You guys had done every single new movement they put in team.
Yeah.
You had done seated muscle ups, you had done P-bars, you'd done pirouettes, you'd done
seated
freestanding
muscle
handstand
ups
holds.
too. Yeah. And we didn't have any issues with most of them. Like the biggest thing that we missed out on was probably the first workout, which was the seated legless rope climbs. But as you could see, like several guys and girls were feeling their third and fourth round. Even like the top 5 teams.
That workout is. I hesitate to say over programmed at the games.
Yeah.
right? But like ski erg into seated legless into synchro overhead squats for over 100, like 175 repetitions is
Yeah.
the end goal in an interval format. Like that workout is just an absolute fucking nightmare. Like
I know.
and
Well,
unless you're a phenom at seated legless.
yeah. Well,
Like
and for somebody like me, like my game plan is always strategy. Like I like to break things up pretty early on in the workout so that I can last. And I felt like my game plan, even though Zach didn't want to from the beginning, worked out to our advantage because we got through all 4 intervals,
yeah.
which led us to getting back to the barbell each time and adding reps to our score. So I don't know. I felt like I kind of played it safe on the ski erg and on the Legos rope climbs. Like I took my time with them, um, just because that was a limiting factor in most teams, kind of stopped them from moving on to the next point. So, anyways, you love it and you hate it, you know?
CrossFit.
CrossFit.
And what did you guys end up finishing at the games?
We ended up in 23rd place. I forgot. You get
Like you don't even know.
I was like,
I didn't
no,
look
23rd
after.
place. Yeah, that's another thing that I didn't like. I know we don't want to go back to this, but other people will have different opinions on the cuts and everything, but I felt like the last day for the teams and the individuals, those were fun workouts. Like those were the workouts that like you want to sit and watch. So like we got to go see them do the earthworm and the sled pull and all that stuff. Like that would have been so cool to be out there in that last day. Even getting last place on both of them, like I would have loved to go out there and experience hopping over the logs and being a part of, like, I don't know, the cuts,
just feeling that you finished the whole thing.
Yeah, and knowing that, like, maybe, like, what if those 2 workouts were in day 1 and day 1 was the last day? Like, would the outcome have been completely different? I don't know.
That's a fair question. I think that is the question of the hour or of the year, basically.
Yeah.
It's okay to say cuts are whack.
Cuts are whack. I did listen to Dave Castro talk about something like the judges. I don't know.
Nah.
I still don't get it, but
no,
he has his reasons.
Yes, and like they have their reasons, and like I am obviously not privy to the logistical things that go into running the CrossFit Games or anything like that. But the 2 prevailing things that I hear is the logistics side of like judging and all of that, which, okay, cool, I get it. Like maybe that needs to be problem solved. But then the other thing is that always gets said is, well, we can do more, with the programming when we cut the field. But every year that they've cut the field, there's been nothing that they couldn't have done with 40 teams.
Yeah.
So like,
or with just like an extra heat or 2
with 30 teams. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, like, if you want to have cuts, that's fine. And if those are your justifying reasons, that's fine. But I want to see some cool shit on the last day.
Yeah.
Like I want to see some shit you ain't seen before. That I can sit back and be like, damn, you know what? There's no way they could have done that with 40 teams.
Yeah.
There's no.
The earthworm was pretty cool, but they definitely could have done that for each and every team.
Yeah. So that's my spiel on cuts.
I'm right there with you.
Whatever.
All right, and since the games, you guys, or I don't know if you guys have been training together still or not, but you mostly have been off-ish, doing just gym programming at the time. How do you feel going into almost next season?
Almost next season. Oh my gosh. Is it coming already? Is it here?
Am I sweating again?
Yeah,
right. I know. I've been really enjoying just doing the class programming at Einhorn. So I'm still working out at 5 a.m. or trying to on most days, and I'm starting a running program. So that hasn't felt great necessarily, but I feel like my inflammation has gone down just solely because there's there's less anxiety and stress and training. I feel like my body feels better. The shoulder pain that I was dealing with before semifinals and the games has gone down significantly. So I know my body's like, okay, we're in relaxation mode. We're not as intense as we used to be. So overall, I'm feeling better just doing the bare minimum. But I'm enjoying it, and I think like maybe in a month or two, I'll start ramping back up again. I know Zach's already back into his programming extra stuff that he likes to do. He's insane. Along with the
Beating the
class,
fuck
and
out of that
Casey's
desk.
doing his thing. Who knows?
I
He's
think her elbow is out of
moved
place at
back
this
to
point.
Spring Branch area, so he's an hour into San Antonio. Um, Goodness gracious. And then Abby's just doing the class as well. And I know she's enjoying just doing that, not having to worry about anything. But it's been fun. Past
What
month
is
or so.
what is your immediate next thing that you have coming up? Or did you not think that far yet?
No, I've thought about it a little bit. I definitely want to. Actually, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I might do an individual competition, which Tristan may not like that. I want to do Fittest of the Coast again, which is in South Carolina. It was just so much fun, and it was the first individual comp that I've done in like, I'm not kidding, 4 years. So I'm gonna talk to him about that, see what he thinks, and we'll come to
Act like you don't know
what we're gonna do with that. But
Disclaimer.
not.
I don't hate Fittest of the Coast. I think it's a great competition. I despise when it is.
Well, yeah.
I think we've talked about that last episode.
There's Fittest of the Coast, there's TFX, and there's Wadapalooza, and they're back-to-back weekends in
and I
January.
despise all of them for it.
Yeah. Well, and I think every year for like the past 2 or 3 years, everyone has said they're not doing TFX again, and we all end up doing the qualifiers and doing it. It's just kind of like inevitable. It's just down the street, and
if you're a competitor and you live in Texas, you're going to exactly what she said is what you're going to do. You're going to be like, nah, I'm not doing TFX this year.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, oh, well, did the qualifiers. Like, guess I'm going to Austin. Like,
yeah.
That's
but
what
it
happens
is
every
fun.
year.
Like, it is fun to do the qualifiers. Like, I know I've signed up for the individual qualifiers the past 2 years just to see how you rank. I feel like the qualifiers are a good test just to see where you're at before the season starts.
It is easy
fun.
too.
Yeah.
Because they're the same workouts.
Yeah.
For team and indie. So
Correct.
like it's not a big deal.
You don't have to do 2 different sets of workouts.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see about that. Maybe individual, maybe team. That's really all I've thought about. Fittest of the Coast, TFX, and then I don't even know.
Do you have plans for the season itself, as in team or individual, or yes or no, or not yet?
I don't know. I mean, I would definitely like to go team again. It depends on where everybody else is at. I haven't really talked to everyone together as a whole to see like what we want to do for next year. And as long as everyone's on the same page, like I think it could work again. But I don't know. We'll see. I would absolutely I would never go like I don't mark my words on that, but I don't think I would ever go individual. Sorry, Tristan. I just have so much fun doing team.
Bane of my existence. I want you to go indie so bad sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it would make my life easier probably because 4 different personalities working together as one. It's like it's very difficult, and being like I mean, y'all called me teen mom for a reason earlier. Like I really like to communicate and like organize and plan and all those things. And when the other people don't really like care about those things, not necessarily that that's a bad thing, they just like kind of let me do it. But I don't know, I feel like whenever I'm the only one like wanting to get together for training sessions on the weekends and like knowing an exact time and scheduling out the season from the beginning, like from the open, I don't know, it's a lot of planning and organizing and getting 4 people on the same page, which is stressful with 4 different personalities.
Cece's the one who's like, hey, let's talk about this, that, and the other. And then she's like, why don't any of you want to talk about this with him? Don't you have these questions?
Well, they do. That's the thing is that's the whole theme of the season was everyone had an opinion until it came to talking to you about it. And then I was the only one that was able to express those thoughts and feelings to you, which is fine because I'm
okay.
totally okay with being like the spokesperson.
Yeah.
And I enjoy talking to you, so it ended up being fine. But I don't know. I feel
You're
like
scaring them, Tristan.
no,
I have had more, none of them for sure,
no,
but I've had more than one
not.
athlete be like kind of intimidating. Like even a
Really?
girl at Greater Heights
What?
that you personal train. She was like, "Do you
Oh yeah.
smile?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like
Maybe she only sees you whenever you're like coaching Kelly or Jacob, and you're like got your game face on. I don't know.
I have determined like I'm this is not a great thing that I'm realizing too. As I'm getting older, I'm developing like a scowl.
Mm.
Like a like and
Fix your
I'm not
face.
yeah, I'm not it's just my face.
Yeah,
Like I don't know what to say.
you've got RBF
I do, especially
Well,
Courtney.
as a boy.
Courtney's told me that all the time. Like
Yeah.
when Courtney's competing or training, I have to like think about what I'm doing with my face. Cause if I'm watching and just focused, I look mad
I can
or
relate.
disappointed.
Yeah.
And there have been times where she's been like, I'm trying. And I'm like, I'm not
Why are
mad.
you
Like,
looking at me?
I'm just watching you.
I'm really happy on the inside.
Yeah, you're doing great. Like, I'm just focused. So,
There's a difference between somebody like you and Mahmoud, though, who like Mahmoud's always smiling and laughing and always here to have a good time. And you may be feeling that on the inside. It's just not showing. You
eh,
know,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm a little stoic, I
And I,
guess.
in
we've
all
all got our
fairness, I think,
things.
Tristan is the most person that sees me not smiling.
Oh,
He'll
That's
see
true.
me and like okay, like game face on. I'm just like whatever, we're here.
That's true.
oh,
That's true.
Mahmoud, I have
Well,
to bring up too before you ask another question. Whenever I was home the other weekend for summer series,
mm-hmm.
and I really had no clue that you already knew Taylor and Sevi for some reason. I just didn't make that connection. But we were all talking afterwards about you and just how like you're so genuine and you remember like tiny things about people. So anyways, I just want to let you know you're
Oh,
great.
Appreciate that.
that's
You're
wholesome as
Thank
awesome.
you.
fuck.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, wow. This episode is my favorite episode so far.
The Cole
Hey,
sisters are big fans.
Cece, do you want to be the co-host of the podcast now? So
You guys don't want me on your podcast.
it'll be you and Mahmoud because he's gonna be like, she's
Oh.
way nicer to me than you are.
I would get too sidetracked too often.
That's good. That's good content.
Yeah.
No, again, I just wanted to say that we were really, really proud of you from the Ascend community, and even in Greater Heights, where a lot of people haven't met you, but we were watching you like you were one of ours, and you guys did a great job. You made it really fun for us to watch you. Again, like watching you smile mid workout was just absolutely insane to me. I'm like, I don't know why they're smiling.
Cuckoo.
but just one more time, great job, and I'm waiting to be rooting for you all season next season as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely.
This was fun.
Yes. Thanks for hopping on with us today and telling the people about the season.
Let's
So,
go.
all right. I will talk
Appreciate
to you
y'all.
guys later. Don't leave, CC.